Hello everybody, how are you plannerettes? Hope you're well. Happy Monday to some of you, Tuesday for some of us. I'm here in Sydney. It is Tuesday 26th of May, 6:30 a.m. The house is still all asleep, so I thought I'll go and start on my June planner pages in my new A5 dotted grid bullet journal. So if you are also planning your planner pages, enjoy this lovely company. And as I talk through what I will be doing for my June cover page. So as the title suggests, what I'm going to actually be doing is recreating a cover page that I did back in May of 2018. So this was my January 2018, June 2018 Leuchtturm1917 cover bullet journal, dotted one. And so let me have a look. I thought I had it, what do you call it? January, February, May, here we go. Okay, so because I'm actually supposedly taking a break from scheduled, like actual scheduled content creation schedule of mine, due to just having a little bit of a break and getting some rest to be inspired again, which I think I have been, because I have started to go and do bullet journaling for the month of June. And in order to reduce that decision fatigue, instead of trying to figure out what sort of thing to create from scratch, I'm going to shop my own planner pages from way back when. So then that way I don't have to try and search through Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube to get inspiration and just get the creative juices flowing again. Hello there, Sheila, nice to see you. Thank you so much. Whoops, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. So yeah, so for the next most likely couple of days, I'm just going to go live impromptu when the house is still asleep, or when my younger son and husband are out and about doing their homeschool excursion, and I can have this shared open space to myself, because the last thing I want is making my young child who's on the autism spectrum be boxed in and go in the bedroom while mum is YouTubing and filming. So I'm taking opportune moments to go live when it is free, not a lot of noise. All right, so this is what I'm going to be recreating for the month of June 2026. Now I have already penciled in this to start with, so then that way, you know, I got to save myself a little bit of face and not make a too much of a big mistake on air. So you can see I have penciled in. Now here's a little trick, right? Remember back in primary or elementary school days where you traced stuff? So that's all I did, is I just, because this Leuchtturm 1917 dotted journal is 80 GSM, it is a little bit thinner, and which means you can see the tracing or the outline of other pages. So what I did is I just grabbed the page, lined it up, and used my handy dandy mechanical pencil and just did an outline. And then the same thing with this one here. Now, if you are like me, who sometimes say I'm not artistic, which I know I have been trying to stop myself from saying that, but I think what it is for me is I need to have a starting point. Just like when I am cooking, I cannot cook from scratch. I have to have like the recipe, and then if I want to make changes along the way, then I can. But I think my brain tries to save itself from making too much of a mistake by, you know, having sort of like a template, an outline first, and then I can take my creativity, you know, to its limits once I know the basics or the foundation. Positive changes. Sheila says, my daughter and I baked a cake from scratch today on live with frosting. But you guys are great bakers and you guys are great cooks already. So see, that's what comes from experience, right? Is the more you do it, then the better you are going to get at it. So what I'm going to do is on here, I'm going to have the June heading with a cute little animation or animated young girl holding up a June sign. And here on the left hand side is I'm going to have the calendar. All right, so I'm just going to use a felt tip pen. So this one is from Hand Lettering Design that was gifted to me by one of you lovely plannerettes. So instead of just a simple rectangle, you can just create sort of like a wonky little rectangular shape. Yes. Yes, although we were all over the place today, but see, this is what I think I am discovering during this break of mine, right? So this is technically I'm on a break, as in not break from doing stuff, but break from being so regimented with the schedules. And once you take away the fun, the play, the experimentation from something that you do, then it doesn't become, you know, as Marie Kondo says, it doesn't spark joy. Okay, so we need to make sure we infuse fun, play, make a mess. You know how when little toddlers, they're allowed to, you know, when they're doing finger painting, right? They're just making a mess. They are mixing all the colors together, but in actual fact, that is part of learning, because they're learning what the colors are all mixed up. They're sensory playing. So cooking would be sensory playing, right? Yes, I love this. Allowing yourself flexibility to be creative and messy at times. And that is when new ideas pop up. That's how new things come up, from a lot of time accident. What do they say? Penicillin was an accident, you know. So yeah, so I'm just looking over here at my calendar. So June starts on the 1st, on a Monday. So let me just write this down, or else I know I am going to write the numbers wrong. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Can you please let me know if the background music, it's very faint, but because I have it in my ear and I have it a little bit loud, what you might hear is different from what I hear. So let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough, because I will have some lull moments where I am not talking. 21, make sure I'm 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, there's my little calendar. And then my lovely little lady here. Now it is this one. Let me quickly, this little drawing was inspired by Inslee by Design. So I did look this up from Pinterest way back in 2018, but when I did search for it, because of course, what's that, now 7-8 years that she has been designing, a lot of the images that you would see if you put Inslee by Design on Pinterest will be her most latest drawings. And so I couldn't find this one, but if you put sort of like I guess illustration, Inslee by Design, rain boots, maybe you can find it there. So she's holding a little sign here. The music is perfect, not too loud, just enough to be relaxing. Yeah, on my sound effects is like it, not so much the volume, but the number is 2. So yes, so Sheila says, allowing yourself flexibility to be creative and messy at times, as long as you're enjoying yourself in the moment. That's right. We're recreating old recipes. Oh, from my mom's cookbook she used in the 70s. I think that is a beautiful series. I actually said to my mom, because she's a wonderful cook, and a lot of things that she cooks, she doesn't have them written down anywhere. And I wanted to actually do a series, even though of course on this channel it's planning, but I wanted to go and, have her via Zoom. She gives me the recipes. I will cook it on air, just a top-down shot. And then she can give me advice on how to cook these wonderful Filipino dishes. And have all these wonderful, great ideas that sometimes I don't execute. She probably goes, I thought you said we were going to do that. But that is a wonderful idea, Sheila, creating a series of the recipes from your mom's cookbook. Okay, now the reason I think I did this drawing and was inspired to do this drawing way back when was I had hunter boots. So these rain boots. And I bought it online or delivered all the way from the UK. So they say the hunter boots are the same rain boots that, Queen Elizabeth and all these fancy schmancy posh people use. And so I got them, but I made a mistake of leaving it in the laundry. So then, of course, the heat and the condensation, just it wasn't good for the rubber of the boots. All right, so I'm just using for the legs and the boots a much thinner felt tip pen. So then that way I can get to the details. The other thing, if you are not artistically inclined, if you have an iPad, you can use that sort of like as a tracing light box. You just want to make sure, if you are, of course, a content creator and share things online like I am, that you give credit back to the original artist. That's really important. I remember I used to make handmade dolls, and so of course the dolls itself is not like anyone can make a handmade doll, but you got to make sure that if you are inspired by someone else, you are giving them credit. They used to go, oh, but well, if you don't want anyone copying it, you shouldn't be online. It's like, it's not about not allowing, other people to be inspired, because that's what art is. All these wonderful artists of the, of those eras, they were all inspired by previous artists that they have learned from, or, inspired by, right? But you have to give credit where credit is due. Oh, she's looking so cute. Like, I couldn't leave her as is. But I am, do I have my, I don't know if I have my, oh dang, I don't have my, whatchamacallit, pencil. Do I have it anywhere? Can I see it anywhere? My colored pencil, because, all right, I won't be able to, because what I was going to do for this effect here, I think what I used was a sponge and use a stamp ink, and then created that. See how it's got these sort of like very faint color in there? What I might do, I'll do it afterwards, but either the sharpening of a pencil, colored pencil, and then just rubbing that, or I'll have to find some of my sponge stamp daubers and have a look and play, because I do have some, so that might just be later down the track. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is to create the shadows or the shades of the pleats. So I'm just going to use N95. This N95 is actually running out of ink, which is fine, because then I can, it won't be too dark. And then I'm just creating, let me just zoom in again. I'm just creating where the natural shadow would fall in the pleats of the skirt. So it doesn't have to be too precise, but so then that one, there's sort of like a fold in that, and then here, and then at the edges. Okay, I think that's it, and maybe some here. Okay, that looks cute. And then I'm going to color in her tights. Maybe I'll use the thinner, so then I can get really in between these stripes on her tights. So yeah, I think I'm good at seeing an image, and then I remember I took someone's drawing and doodling challenge, and then he said, when it comes to drawing, try not to draw what you think the image will be. So if it's a book, don't try and draw a book, just look at the shapes. So, you know, rectangles, squares. So these ones technically are just tiny little rectangles, rather than trying to draw, you know, tight. So whichever shape you see, just recreate that. Okay, so there we are. I'm going to let that dry, and then take my N95 and then create some shadows on the tights, so it doesn't look as flat as that. Now the next thing I've got here is, I can't remember which one this is. Maybe asparagus. The number came off it. So my hunter boots was great, sort of like army green. So that's why back in May of 2018, when I drew her, I had the boots, the rain boots, as army green. So the little labels, that's where normally the hunter label will go. I'm going to leave that as white. So let me know if you have already started your June cover page. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going over the colors again, and the edges of the boots I'm just going over to make that contrast. Okay, so make it a little bit darker so then it doesn't look as flat. And on here as well. See how the difference? So this one is just one layering. And then when you layer on, now let's see, is this going to, so far it hasn't bled through, which is always nice. Sheila says, just got some new brush markers. I'll be practicing with them on this week's layout. Oh, I love it. Yes. I love hand lettering. So I have to do more of it because I am still too critical of myself and thinking mine doesn't look good compared to, you know, everyone else's. But that's only because I haven't had practice yet. So I can't just give up and go, oh, mine doesn't look as nice. Oh, that looks nice. That she's looking good. All right, so hopefully this is dried already. I also have to get myself an eraser because I don't know where my erasers are. All right. So then I'm going to use the gray. So see how the tights at the moment is looking very flat. So if I just add a little bit of gray shadows on the edges of the legs, so then it looks like it's a rounded legs rather than just flat legs. And then of course also underneath the skirt there would be shadow. Yeah, she's looking very cute. And see, this is it's a good cheating way that if you can't draw faces, so all it is if you did it yourself and you can't find this as an inspiration, right? So rectangle, make little sort of like you know, the shape of a hand holding it there, and then you got a little triangle here, and then two legs, and then yeah, just sort of like the shape, you know, just draw on it. So let's see, maybe we can make, oh no, I did the green. It's okay. Right, so we'll make it look like there's a shadow while she's holding, and maybe shadow here. Okay, now maybe, will I wreck it? Just very lightly. Very lightly. Okay, so sometimes this is when your any markers you may have that is, you know, running out of ink will be great. Okay, now the June. Ooh, I'm gonna practice first. And have a look. And see if I can recreate the June. And then I'll do this little heart. What do we think of that? That looks nice. So center it, maybe here. All right, here we go. So light stroke going up, down stroke you have to press harder on the brush tip marker. So this one is the Tombow for the Nosoke in the blue. I think the blue, oh no, sorry, in the black barrel. So see how there's a difference there? Let me just double check. So the black barrel is a softer tip. Yeah. So the black barrel Tombow for the Nosoke one is a softer brush tip. The blue one is the bristle is a little bit harder, so which means the black one will be a lot more flexible, and then the blue one not so much. All right. I love your ability to write script like that. I'm not so oh, it's all about strokes. It's all about I learned when I first started bullet journaling that all of these are just combinations of strokes. So if you can think of hand lettering not as like cursive writing, you lift the marker or the brush tip every time you make a stroke. So down strokes are always thicker, okay? So you press harder on your marker. Up strokes are thinner, and that's all it is. You actually have to do drills. That's how I did it. You do drills, and then when it becomes muscle memory, that when you are writing, when you go down, you do broader strokes. So you got to press harder on your marker. So up strokes, down strokes, and up stroke, down stroke and up stroke, down stroke and up and down. Okay, so that's all it is. Hand lettering in this style is just combinations of different strokes. I have both pens, yes. So I have both pens because sometimes I like the blue barrel one. Make sure I've got the blue barrel one for smaller writing, because then it's because the brush tip is not as flexible. So which means even if you press a little bit harder on the smaller writing, it's not going to create thicker strokes. Okay, so let me just let me write this here, and down strokes and up stroke, and then you lift, and then if there is a bit there it's not joining, you just fill that in. Okay, and down strokes and up strokes, lift, down strokes and up and down. So that one's called a compound. I think I'm going to run out of space here. Make sure. And down and up, and then and down and up. Yay! Because sometimes my worry all the time is that you know, you'll either run out of space here or you have too much space. And the dot, I'm just going to use my brush tip on its side and make a heart. Aww, that looks so cute. All right, I appreciate, yes. So don't think of hand lettering like cursive writing. It is not cursive writing at all. And I thought it was. So which meant that if I wrote June like a cursive writing, right, then things are like, they're all combining together. But see, now that my muscle memory knows that with this type of writing, I have to lift it up. So practice first your broad stroke, okay? Practice like drills. Like you might have to do 200 lines of broad strokes until you figure out how to do broad strokes. So then that your broad strokes are different from your upstrokes, okay? And it's just sometimes when I'm doing my drills, I have a little chant in my head. Down, so it's like down, like it's heavy, so you got to put pressure. Down, 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 down. And then for light, up, up, up. All right. And then you've got your, I think it's compound strokes. Up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up. Okay. And then it's just ovals, ovals, ovals. And what else? I think there's descending and ascending. But yeah, look up hand lettering and you'll practice your strokes, so then you have muscle memory. When I still sometimes make a mistake when it's like, oh, I was doing upstroke. I should have been doing it light. And then there's also, you can also always do faux. You can always do faux hand lettering. Yeah, down, down, down. I'm such a perfectionist, I'd freak out about not following. Here's the thing. Once you know the foundation of hand lettering, that's when you can break the rules. So sometimes I will have a letter that is supposed to have certain combinations of upstrokes and downstrokes, but I don't like the look of them. And then I will just do it, you know, have creative licensing and just do it the way I want. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, or you can do faux lettering. Okay, so if you just take your normal cursive writing, okay, so there's J, leave a little bit of space, okay, so this is just normal thin, okay, and then if you feel like you're not up to it yet, you can do what's faux, right? So this is upstroke, this is downstroke, so you just thicken what you would normally do as a downstroke. So that's a downstroke, so let's just make that here. You just thicken that bit. This is a downstroke, so you just go and thicken and color it in. So this is faux hand lettering. So that's an upstroke, this is a downstroke, so make that thicker, and again thicker, and color it in. And so that's up, 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 and down. There you go. Now you made. But what I would do is practice, because then see how here there's a little bit of space. So maybe, you know, practice and then, oh, okay, I got to make the end of the June a little bit closer, so then there's not a little bit of space. Because I think I remember someone saying that you might start comparing your hand letterings to someone else because the eyes are trying to make sense of our handwriting. So sometimes if the, you know, the slant of your lettering, so I think someone said neatness of hand lettering, or even just your normal penmanship, the neatness is based on, okay, are they all the same strokes? Are the spacing of your O's, D's, C's, and E's are all the same? So let's say if, you know, just normal writing, June, okay, so there's June, but then if your June is, you know, it's like all over, the slant is not the same, somehow the mind reads that as messy. Or if, let's say, doodle, okay, so there's the word doodle, but then if it's right, if the sizing of your lettering are all thin, thick, then it looks, you know, it looks messy. But the good thing is now there are actually fonts that make it look like it's messy writing, or that it's done by, you know, a 5-year-old. Because then if your whatever you're creating needs that look of sort of like you know, a kindergarten looking type of typography or font, then I wonder if I can find, so bear with me, listen to the lovely music, and let's see if I can go and find my little daubers. I've got some old ones. These are sort of looking manky. I use these little daubers. See how it's fallen apart? It might fall apart on me. I use this little for the cheeks of the dolls that I used to make. So let's see. So this is just a cheap stamp set that I'm sure came with something. Hey, I think it can work. All right. See, it's making a nice, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, folks. Let's see if I can do this without wrecking what I have currently got. Let's have a look. Okay, so let's cover this up and we will see. Okay, so daubers, I'm sorry I caused you to get lost down a rabbit hole. No, this is what my free play is about. Okay, let's see. Dab, 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 dab. And I'm just using the sticky note to not dab color into that rectangle. So I'm just using that to stop it. Dab, 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 dab. Okay, so if you want a nice subtle color, you can do this with some stamp, and then of course you can just build that up. Okay, let's do some here. This is fun, and this is what I think I had been needing. Just some fun. Sometimes when your full-time work is as a content creator, and you're trying to please the algorithm, you know, because it's sometimes I go, don't worry about trying to please the algorithm, you know, just do whatever. But then it's like, if I just do whatever and then it doesn't show the people that I want it to show, even if it's, you know, maybe like you guys might enjoy, but then if the algorithm, you know, thinks that, oh, don't know, she's just babbling on, no one's gonna want to watch her, and then it's like, oh, well, I can't make those type of content because no one's gonna watch me just babble on. I mean, of course, apart from my wonderful plannerettes and those of you that join up and start to enjoy my content. Look at that. It's very subtle, right? Very subtle. I may need to get a new one. You have to remember these little daubers are, how old are they? 2011. How many years is that, people? 15 years? 15 years of usage, as well as, you know, the weather. Okay, so just use a little post-it note, have the sticky bit towards the edge, and just move that around. So then you're not stamping on the area you don't want to stamp. Let me just zoom out a bit so then I can maybe repurpose this video for shorts. Okay, she's looking, she's a goner now, she's a goner. I have to buy some more. So these are the things, through my addictive nature of starting and doing so many different crafty projects and crafty hobbies, I have gathered many crafting tools. Whoa, very subtle, huh? I love that. What do you think? If you're enjoying this, I just do what I like. Yes. Hi, Margie. Nice to see you. Looks like adding blush. Yes. So this was actually what I used for putting blush on my handmade dolls. So once I've created the doll, I would use the stamp and then use it on the cheeks to create the blush of the cheeks. How are you, Margie? Just doing my June bullet journal cover page. I'm recreating my May 2018 cover page. Okay, and I'm using a sponge, I think it's a dauber, and using post-it note to cover the area that I don't want any stamp inked on. And then just creating a nice sort of like halo haze effect around my June calendar. Okay, and then on the other side, is she still alive? Yes, she can still do it. So Sheila says, I've resigned myself to staying a small channel. My brain doesn't like worrying about the algorithm. Yeah, and so, I mean, look, originally I actually didn't start out a YouTube channel at all to make money. I was just sharing what I was doing. So instead of What was I going to do with this one? Instead, oh, this one is inside. I'm going to do the pink on the inside. Instead of annoying my family and friends on Facebook with all the different things that I was doing when my boys were babies. So, you know, I made earrings. I made, you know, ruffle nappy covers or diaper covers. I made kids' clothes. I made toys. I made handbags. I did arts and crafts stuff. So instead of annoying my wonderful family and friends on YouTube back in 2010, 2011, I thought, oh, I did blogging. I did YouTube. Instagram back then were just really more pictures and images. It wasn't video. And so that's how it started. And then I was sharing my, hang on a tick. I was sharing my planner pages that I was doing in between homeschooling my younger son on YouTube back in 2020, 2018, 2019. And then, yeah, people started following. I created my own inserts just for myself, you know, as someone who's trying to manage a son on the spectrum as well as my own anxiety. How do I manage homeschooling? How do I manage my household? How do I manage myself? So created planner inserts for myself and then just started sharing it on Instagram. People go, where did you get that? I went, oh, I just made it for me. I was like, would you sell it? Oh, no, I don't know. And then they wanted to. I went, I'll see if I can make it and sell it. And that is how the Marianne Cresp channel content creations journey started. I call it my accidental venture, entrepreneurship venture. And then when I had a mental breakdown in February of 2023, and I felt like I wasn't in a good position to also manage my son's, oh, looking good. I think I have to throw this one out. She's a Ghana. I also had to manage, I couldn't manage my son's homeschooling as well as my own personal mind, you know, struggles. And so I asked hubby to go and take over the homeschooling while I sort of figure out what was going on in my mind. And I thought, okay, in the meantime, let's go see if we can make a go of this content creation thing that I was, you know, getting a little bit of traction with. And then, yeah, that's the only thing, is that originally it began as just a personal, you know, diary instead of bugging my friends and family. She's looking good. What do you think? Hi, Margie. I'm currently back to 14, 18 subscribers. Woo, that's so good. That's wonderful. I'm 589. They're all great. You have to remember that I started that too. And so, yeah, that's the thing now is of course, create something that, you know, will resonate to the people you want it to resonate to. But trying to balance, I think it's finding the balance between creating and adding play and adding fun into what you create without it becoming mechanical and, you know, robotic. But yeah, you just gain one more. So now, yay, woohoo, I love this. This is what I love about our community, is we help support each other. I think Sheila, I saw Anne, who's also one of her followers. You know, people, this is where you share, you know, good content creators that you like, that you enjoy, and share it with your with your friends. as well. You gain one more too, Margie. I crochet too, but not on my channel though. See? All right, I'm just going to take myself off the screen for a sec because I want to use this as a cover page. Is it me? Okay, let me make sure. Put it all pretty. Maybe put my here to balance that green. That it's no longer the. Make sure it's all straight. What else? This one. Okay. So save me from creating a what do you call it? A cover page. I'll just take one while I'm here. All right. Let me see. Take a photo. All right, that's taken a photo. Brilliant. All right, so let's quickly do. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Can I just stare at it for a little bit? All right, so this was inspired by a cover page I did back in 2018. So this is my Leuchtturm1917 A5 dotted journal for January 2018 to June 2018. And in order for me not to, you know, give myself decision fatigue, trying to figure out what cover page I would use for June, because I am still in my journey of taking it easy, taking a break, not putting too much pressure on myself. So I shopped my own planner pages of the past, and this was May 2018. So let's have a look. Ooh, look at that. Pretty good. Okay. June, May, June, and May, June. And then here I remembered who this image was inspired by because I wrote it down. Inspired by Inslee by Design. So I'm going to write that down here as well. So then if someone asks me, inspired by Inslee by Design. I had to look for my gray Copic markers. So as a bullet journaler, I purchased pretty much all the different brands of felt tip markers. And so I had to go dig some of them up and try and figure out. All right, so let's quickly, I just want to do a little show and tell if that's okay. All right, so this is my powder. So the color's powder, so I'm assuming powder pink. This is A5 dotted grid journal, 80 GSM paper with 251 pages. It is numbered at the bottom, okay? And I also purchased a matching pen lube. You missed it, Margie. I just traced it. All right, so what I did is I just traced my old one. See, I can't wait to recreate some of these pages later on. So I just traced it. I put the page over the page. And then also what you can do, the other thing I said is if you have an iPad and there's an image you want to recreate, of course, if you are going to show it online, just make sure you credit back to the person. And, you know, if I will put the, when I find this particular image on Pinterest, because this was back in 2018, she's still going with her designs, and on Pinterest it's all the most recent. So that's what's that, 8 years worth of, you know, when she first started. Okay, so Margie, I followed Marian's tutorial on how to draw tulips. Yes, and I can't wait to do more of those different ones. And yes, so it's just like shapes. Just think of it as shapes: triangle, little rectangle, and but yeah. So, you know, even if you go put this on an iPad, trace over it. Yes, just do be mindful. If it ain't your own creation, don't pass it off as your own. credit it back to the person that created it, Inslee by Design. So then, of course, people can follow her as well. Okay, so really important. It doesn't feel nice when someone, you know, takes your intellectual property and then claims it as their own without crediting you back. So really important that we share each other's creation. It's called, you know, getting inspired by different people, but make sure that you credit back. So let's have a look. There's my powder pink A5. I most likely won't do anything yet with the index, maybe at the end or when I've started creating. You know, if it's June, I will put from page this to this was June planner pages. I didn't want to wait until June to start bullet journaling already. So I did create my running to-do list for May 21st to May 25th to 31st, and then just drew all these lines. Again, yes, it does take up a lot more time, but it's I found this as my little therapy, my little mindfulness. So I wrote down, so it's Tuesday here now, so which means I'll start actioning my Tuesday tasks. This is my spread for the week. I added a little habit tracker at the top. So skincare, getting outside, workout, skipping, and nighttime skincare. Yesterday, I just slept. After a lot of live streaming, I just slept. So I didn't do much yesterday. But I've done my morning skincare. And then I will plan the day as it comes along. I added weather, water icon, and then already the known events at the top. Got my meds and blood pressure tracker at the bottom, and then I'm enjoying. It's just, yeah, the newness of it all, and you know, just that rejuvenation of wanting to use planning again. Earlier yesterday, I went live to create my future log for July to December, so then I know what events, bills, appointments that are coming up for the next 6 months. And then, of course, here we are getting ready for June. So either later today when the boys are doing their afternoon excursion, I will most likely, so here I'm going to have the June calendar, but I want to do my habit tracker and my gratitude 1 line a day. So I'm probably going to do the habit tracker. So if you are watching this live or on replay and you are excited to maybe join me for my bullet journaling journey, make sure if you haven't yet subscribed, subscribe please, so then that way you'll get notified of when I'm on. Now some of these lives, I'll figure out if it's, you know, sometimes I might just ramble on. I might have it up for the first 24 hours and then move it to the membership and then just post an edited shorter version, because again, you know, I still have to play to the algorithm, because it's important as part of, you know, my content creation business that I get as much traffic and traction. And you can help out. You can help me out by making sure if you like something, press that thumbs up button. If you think a planner friend of yours would enjoy it too, share it. And if you haven't yet subscribed, subscribe. It doesn't cost much money, and if you know, if you are enjoying it, I would really appreciate it. Okay. All right, there we are. I'm getting ready for my June bullet journal planning, starting right now. And so make sure to come back maybe a little bit later. Might be a different time zone, but come say hello in the comment section of the replay. Thank you so much for joining me, Plannerettes. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.